play button. Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here, Bianca. I'm so excited. I have a person on live on Zoom with me. This is like a monumental moment for me. That there's someone here. I'm not talking to myself. But you get used to it. It's kind of funny. The Lord always says, the Bible says, do not despise small beginnings. And I just know that the Lord, he's in what we're doing on the earth today, and just having the heart to help people heal their bodies and heal their hearts and all that good stuff. Like, he's in that because he loves us so, so much. And he wants us to be whole, to be healthy, to be able to live the life that he designed. Right. So I love so much just being a part of what he's doing today in our lovely PHH community. We get our hearts healed, which is amazing. I did an amazing session last night with a beautiful person, and it was incredible to see what the Lord did. I'm still in awe. And what's funny about heart healing is that the Lord actually, the person who's being receiving is receiving from the Lord, but also like me, the facilitator, I had so many aha moments. I'm like, oh, wow, Lord, you're speaking to me right now. And it was like, wow, he's so faithful. And it was really about the body and reconnecting to the body and finding that the blocks that were there that were preventing the person from being able to honor the body and be reconnected to it. So I never had a session like that before. It was like, wow, God. So today I'm like kind of like just super excited because I'm like, wow, you're doing something amazing on the earth today. But thank you for being here, and everyone watching. I know we have people. I'm going to try my best to follow the Facebook, but I'm really bad about doing both. At some point, I might have an assistant that can actually go on there for me and make sure that I'm following the comments and questions. But if you do have questions, just be sure that you just comment, and I can actually be able to see. I'm trying to get to my profile so I can see if anyone's on the live on Facebook. I know we have one gal. Here we are. No comments yet. One gal who can't get on Zoom, so I know she'll probably be watching the replay here. But I'm super excited. And actually, you guys, just to give credit where credit's due, I've got this Tip Tuesday from beautiful Bianca right here. The idea, you don't even know how you influence people. It's amazing how you just go through life and you're doing things, and then you're influencing people. People are being affected in beautiful ways. And for me, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been a health and wellness coach for over a decade. And I've never held a Tip Tuesday. There's so many tips and things that, like, when I began my journey, I didn't know anything. I literally started with like a 21-day detox, which I do not recommend starting your journey with something that dramatic. Of course, I'm always like all in type of gal. I don't do anything small. I do it full force. And so I had this grocery list of these 3 weeks of foods and things. I didn't even know what quinoa was. I didn't know what anything was. I started at the very beginning of a health journey. I walked into Whole Foods with this list and said, what are these things? How do I find them? And I need to get them now. And I bought everything all at once, which you probably would next time do 1 week at a time. So you have, I didn't know anything, but just realizing all the wealth of information the Lord's given me over the years to be able to just get to where I am today. I was at least 20 pounds more of a weight, eating processed foods, eating fast food, eating not healthy, didn't know, like I said, didn't know what quinoa was. What the heck is millet? Like, I didn't know what anything was. So what are toxic foods? What toxins in our foods? What are you talking? Organic? What? I didn't know anything. So now it's like just having the ability to be able to help people step into it and understand. You don't have to, the beauty of when we're on a journey and when we've overcome things is we can release that anointing so people can be accelerated into what the Lord has for them and not have to go through the painful process that I had to go through of not knowing what anything was. So, but today I had one person that, if you have anything on your heart, Bianca, let me know. But I had one gal that asked to talk about recipes. So I was going to chat a little bit about what is food prep? How do we do it? What about all these recipes? Unless you had something on your heart, I can always pivot and talk about that. Did you have anything particular that you wanted to hear about?
Well, being 3 days into this journey, I might inundate you with questions. My first question is, you have these posts where you say you're going live, but then where are you going live on? Because I don't find them in the group. So is it a specific place we go to?
Yeah. So today, typically, I go live in our groups that you're in. So I have two main groups that I work with, which is Sugar Freedom Fighters, which is those people who really are on their journey trying to break free from the sugar addiction, trying to, like, they might have diabetes and different things going on, trying to really get healthier at that. So I have that group, and I go live Tuesday, Thursday in that group with workouts and different things. Then I have my Alice Cameron Fitness Ignited VIPs, and those are all my strictly my customers. And so I get assigned people a lot of times. So so that's my basic overall general group. And I go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday in that group. So that's where you see the lives. Tip Tuesday will only be live on my Alice Cameron Fitness Facebook business page, which is where we are live today. So those are the differences of the places where I go. And I guess I should probably put something in the comments, because, when I do it in terms of not a post, but I actually put it in that little cute little backgrounds they give us. You only have so many characters to put in there. So it's hard to say. I should say though, if I can fit it in, going live on ACF or going live in the group, so people would know which one's going, where I'm going live. But today I thought Tip Tuesday, I don't go live in my personal business page very often. I don't know why. I have like 3,000 people following. Like, why am I not doing that more often? So today I thought I'm just going to do it here. So yeah, that's where I'm doing that. And I don't, basically you've been seeing that I've been doing a live Zoom Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. ish, depending on what's going on, who's joining me, with a workout, just so for accountability pieces. Because I know a lot of times as the new year begins, we all get kind of stuck. And some people, maybe like you, day 3, you had the habit, and then life got in the way, and now you're going back on to creating the habit again, which happens to all of us. Like, I've had so many times in my journey where I've started, was going great, and then boom, you get knocked over. It's like those little things, boop, and you're like, okay, now I got to get back on track. And so having that accountability piece is super helpful, I think, for those who want to take advantage of it. And a lot of people are shy, like, I don't want to be on Zoom working out, but you can totally have your camera off. You can have one gal, she has it facing the wall. It's not even facing like her. So she has the privacy of not no one watching her work out. Because if you're, maybe you're not comfortable with that. So there's many options, but it's a great accountability piece. And what I like about it too is people jump on, we can chat for a second. Hey, how are you? Just to have that friendship, the family, right? A community to be able to do life with. So that's the advantage of that. Long answer.
No, that was helpful, because I actually, while you were talking, I went and found it. So now I see the lives.
Yeah.
I was like looking in Sugar and the
Where is she?
I was like, where is she? I missed something.
Yeah.
My next question is, and you've already helped me so much, and that was when I was looking for the stretching, so I guess I just can type in, like, in the search bar, and then things came up. I know I saw one that came up. So like, using the app, I guess, is like a whole new technological challenge to overcome. Alice is my tech tip queen.
It is tough when it's something new, and it's like it's pretty user friendly, but there's just always stuff that's like, wait, what just happened? Where am I going with that? Yeah. So typically, like I mentioned, typically every single program we have has a stretch in it, or a roll and release, or both, or 10-minute abs, or so you can pretty much click on any program and take a look and find their extra workouts or their overtime, and you'll find those in there, which are really nice. And we also have the controlled stretch, which is literally 7-minute stretch you can do every day. So that's a really nice one. And today, actually, when I went live today in our Sugar Freedom Fighters, I did a stretch afterwards, because the program that I'm currently doing, job 1, is 20 minutes, 5 days a week for 4 weeks. But because it's only 20 minutes, she's not doing a lot of stretching. And I'm like, we did a lot of jumping around and squats. I'm like, guys, just hang on tight. I'm going to do our own little stretch. So I went off the camera, camera on me, and I showed a couple of stretches as well as some breathing exercises, because I think that's great at night before you go to bed. And that controlled stretch does a little bit of that as well. But I think it's just important to you have to do the stretching, and not overstretching, because you could overstretch too, right? could be both ways. But yeah, I think that's really important to do a little stretch before, and definitely afterwards. It's going to help reduce your soreness. So you're not, using the muscle and then not, stretching it out afterwards, right? Just as if you run or something, right? When you do your steps and you get back to your 5Ks, right? Which is down the road. You do your stretch before and after. Otherwise, right, you'd have stiff legs, and right. And also you can have injury. And that's one thing you don't want to have. So those are really, really important.
Yeah, it's actually so funny how I walk a lot, but getting back into functional fitness has actually been harder than I thought it would be. I was like, it's only been 5 months, but it feels like I've been gone for a year.
It's kind of crazy though, right? How you can we're very similar situations, because all of 2021, I couldn't work out for 7 months, nothing. And you have to understand, I've been working out for over a decade, 5-6 days a week. Only went 21 days when I do my detox, because you can't exercise because it raises your acid levels, right? You want to keep your L-nicotine high, acid low when you're detoxing. So I would not exercise, or I walk and do stretches and things like that, but no massive workout. But except for that, I'd never gone that period of time. But I was so ill that I could not do anything. And it wasn't COVID. It was, I had intestinal issues, had an emergency appendectomy, and other crazy stuff happened after that. So when I started again, I started with our dance program called Let's Get Up. And it was so much fun. I used 1 pound weights. Like, you have to understand, I was a girl who was using 15s, 20s, 25s. And I had to start I lost all my muscle. And I had the skin just kind of like, when you have the muscle and then you have more weight and then you drop it, it's like, what just happened to and I'm 56. So as we get older, the skin just loses the elasticity naturally. So there's just things that happen. And I was like, what just happened to me? But I started with Let's Get Up, and I had to start with 1 pound weights. And I felt the 1 pound. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, what just happened? But the beautiful thing though, is even though you might start back with what seems like the beginning, your body is going to have the muscle memory, and it's going to remember where you were. And it won't take you nearly as long to get the strength as well as the muscle back as when you did first begin. So that's the beauty of our bodies. Our bodies are designed to, oh yeah, I remember that. And it's going to kick back in. So the first week or 2 or 3 could be a little bit like, dang, is anything happening? That's why I always tell people, take a before picture and measurements, because you see yourself every day and you might not necessarily notice the changes. And people think, oh, that's so vain. Like, who cares? No, well, the point is that you could be busting your butt, busting your hump, and eating right, doing all the right things, exercising, and all of a sudden the scale stops moving if you're on a weight loss journey and you're like, what the heck is happening? Nothing's working. And then you get discouraged. So I say, take the pictures and then take an interim picture and put them side by side. That's when you go, whoa. Like when I did my before picture and my after picture of the second program I did when I got back into my health journey, I was shocked at the muscle definition. And because I'm leaner now, you could really see it. And I was like, what the? I didn't notice it. It was a 40-day program. I think it was, right? It was a longer program. And I was like, I would never have noticed it had I not taken those pictures. And another thing too is, as you're on a weight loss journey, your body will eventually begin to build muscle, which is wonderful, which might weigh more. Also, you might stop losing weight and start losing inches. And that's why I said to do the measurements, because you might go, I gained 2 pounds. What the heck? And then you do your measurements and go, oh, I lost 3 inches. So your body starts to do those things. That's why it's important to have a proper gauge. The weight is a great way to gauge it. The scale, is a great way to gauge it, because you can see what's working, what's not. But also the picture and measurements really help a lot. Yeah. Your questions are so good.
I think that's enough for this week. Let's hear what you have for us.
Yeah. So what I was going to chat a little bit more about today is Robin. Bless you. Happy birthday. A shout out to Robin. It's her birthday today. Woo, woo, woo. She had asked me about recipes. And one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit about that is when I look back at my journey, when I began, as I told you, I started from ground zero. I knew nothing, nothing. And my mom's idea of cooking a lot of time was hamburger helper. So I grew up with just not knowing like anything about nutrition, And so one thing, and when I began my journey, the biggest number one struggle I had once I knew what was the better, healthier foods to eat, had a better idea of what to do, was actually doing it. It was so hard. Like I had, my husband and I were newly married. I went from 3 kids to 5 kids. Two sets of them are almost the same ages. So almost like 2 sets of twins out of nowhere. They were 7, I forget what. And I was working full time in IP litigation, which was not just litigation, which is very difficult, but IP, which is intellectual property, a lot of ITC cases, which are basically the fast track of cases, which means you have to begin a case and end it in a year. I would go 3 weeks in trial, working day and night. I mean, I don't know how I did this, honestly. Plus the family, plus work in this business. It was like insane. And the biggest struggle I had was we're supposed to prep food, right? Because if you don't plan, then you plan to fail, they say. And I was like, how on earth do I fit food prep in? And I was kind of gal, like I was just going by the seat of my pants too, right? So I would like get a bunch of groceries and I would like try to grab some stuff and I would try to pack some things for kind of a lunch. And it just didn't work. It just did not work. And I couldn't lose the weight like I wanted to. And it was a struggle. And that was my biggest struggle, was just not how do we incorporate the food prep? And so what I learned to do, which helped me, was I started to find super simple recipes that A, didn't cost as much because they were not a ton of ingredients, and B, they were fast, but they were still good, like things I still enjoyed. So that's what I want to talk about today is, where can you find some easy recipes that you can begin the process of food prep? Now, I wouldn't say if this is your beginning thing, try to prep all your food in 1 week for the week. That's not like, baby steps, right? Start small. Don't try to like do it all at once. If you can, awesome. But what I would say is start with one recipe. Make one recipe during, like maybe on Saturday, go shopping on Saturday, Sunday, make one recipe that you can eat all week long. So maybe you double it up, right? And then you could have it for lunch or dinner. So you kind of mix match it so you're not getting too bored eating the same thing over and over again. So I would say pick one recipe, make that enough to last the week. And I got these great glass containers from Amazon that you can just store it in, put it in, store it in the fridge, and then just microwave it. So those work really well because the plastic isn't as great for you. It's hard to microwave plastic. So those work really well. I can put the link in the comments here to that, so you have that. And so I would say pick one recipe and then, pick some great easy snacks like grab Costco sells those little individual things of organic hummus, which is a great, you can grab a little one of those, grab those those little mini organic carrots. That's a great snack. You could grab an apple. That's a great snack. But of course you have an apple. You don't eat that after your food. Apple's best on an empty stomach because it actually starts to turn toxic in your body when you eat it with food, which is, people don't know that. So, but simple snacks, 2 hard-boiled eggs. I can eat eggs. Bless you if you can, you're so lucky. That was my staple. I didn't know I was allergic all these years. So, that's a super easy snack. You can boil some eggs and make one recipe. That's a great, awesome beginning to a journey. Now you're thinking, what recipe can I make? Because that's really hard. So there's a couple. I have an ebook, that I've created that gives a 7-day menu plan with my super simple recipes that I love, my go-tos, which are turkey meatballs. I use oatmeal instead of breadcrumbs. I add an egg in there, and you can add whatever. I used to add turmeric and ginger and all my favorite seasonings, bell peppers and mushrooms, and you can make it super fun. And I would make a big 2 batches of that. I would take them, I would actually freeze them. They freeze really well. So then you can enjoy it, right, for months. And so that's one recipe. I'd make that. And I had the recipe in there. That was one of my all-time favorites. You bake them, they're great. You can mix and match, make the recipe your own. And I would eat those over zoodles, which is another option, zucchini noodles, right? You could eat them in lettuce leaves with hummus, your meatball, with whatever other seasoning you might want. You can put that in there. That's really great. So that's a great recipe. I would eat them plain if you're in a rush. Those work really well, super fast. You get really quick at making it. And again, they freeze really well. So that's one recipe I have in there. Also, one of my other go-tos, which I would do, which I could still do kind of now, is I love crock pot meals, because crock pot meals are fast. You put it in there, you walk away, do your laundry. Because when you work full time, whatever, family, you have so many things, right? We have like laundry, we have cleaning, blah, blah. So I would love crock pot meals. So one easy crock pot meal I would do, and I still do, is I take a crock pot, I have some organic chicken breasts, and I throw them in a crock pot with your favorite jar of salsa. Now, of course, now for me, it's a little more difficult because I can't do sugar. I'm trying to heal my liver. But you have to make sure you read the labels. Number really, really important, so you know what you're ingesting. But essentially, right, that's a super easy recipe. You grab your crock pot, you clean your chicken, throw the chicken breasts in there, throw your jar of favorite salsa, cook it on low for 4 hours, and then you shred it. It's done. You can make burritos, you can make tacos with lettuce leaves if you want to avoid the carbs. You can make a burrito bowl with brown rice. I'm allergic to pinto beans and black beans, so I can't have that anymore. But that's a great option with beans, with rice. I always use a little bit of the Greek gods Greek traditional yogurt instead of sour cream. So if you have those glass dishes, you can put everything down, make it a little burrito bowl, put a little dab of that in the top, and you can enjoy that all week long as well. And again, the cool thing about that recipe is you can feed your family. The kids and the hubbies will like that, right? So you can give them the hard taco shells if you don't want to give them, the healthier version of it. But that can last. You can make that, and that lasts all week long. You can make so many different variations. You could even make taquitos with it. If you're like, you get an organic, tortilla, you can roll it and put it in the air fryer, right? And you can make taquitos. I mean, there's so many. And I always use, I have this amazing recipe I have in my ebook it's called a green salsa. I use tomatillos, and it's an incredible tomatillos, cilantro, and onion. And you mix that sauce with yogurt. It makes like a nice dipping sauce without the sour cream. It still looks great with taquito. So there's so many options of those things you can do. But I think the key is to find simple, easy recipes that aren't going to be making the kitchen for hours and hours and hours. And the problem is you take too big of a bite of trying to do too much at once, and then you get discouraged, and then you don't do anything. Right. And so I think, and eventually once you're like get into the habit of doing one meal a day and some healthy snacks, you go, hey, I think I'm going to try and make 2 recipes this Sunday, right? And then you can make 2 of them. One could be a crock pot one could be the meatballs, right? And then, so that's something that's really easy. One of the third super easy recipes that I absolutely loved is Mason salad jars. Probably you've heard of it. They're super easy. Like you can get the Mason jars from Michael's. They sell them. I think even the grocery store sells them. They're super cheap now. I get the big ones. And what you do, you line them up. Just line them up, all open. Now we have, it's called the 21-day fix color-coded containers, which I think you might have gotten with your pack. Those are nice because you measure everything with it. It's nice for measuring. Like you use the orange one for your dressing. So you line all your jars up. Now, one thing I used to do as well is I'd have my husband go barbecue the meat. He'd barbecue steak, he'd barbecue chicken. Or you can do the crock pot one as well, right? Or you could bake it and then you just cut it up into cubes, right? Whatever you want to do it. So you would use either 2 tablespoons or the little orange container of the dressing. That goes first. You layer that across all the jars, however many you want to make. And then the next thing you do is you would add in your meat, the 1 cup of meat, or the red container is the meat, whatever meat. And like I said, I do a couple meats. So that way you have some alternations. Otherwise you get bored of having the same thing every day. You can do turkey. Turkey is delicious. In a crock pot, turkey is so flavorful. So I would do 1 cup of the meat, and then you would add whatever else you want in terms of garbanzo beans, radishes, carrots, whatever you love in your salad, that goes next. At the very top, you add your lettuce. And sometimes I would do a couple of lettuces, like the romaine mixed with the spring mix, or some arugula is delicious, right? And that goes at the top. And then you just store it in your fridge for 5 days. It stores a good 5, 7, 6 days. Line them up in your fridge. You can grab one, take to work. the chicken, the steak. Oh my gosh. And then you just when you get ready to eat it, you just shake it, turn it upside down, boop, boop, boop. It goes into your bowl and it's a delicious, incredible meal. That's amazing. And again, you can make it your own. You could add almond slivers. You can add so many different things, pumpkin seeds, right? Really give it some great nutrition. But for me, because I have a super sensitive gut, I can't do raw greens. And if I have more than one salad a week, I'm in trouble. So, which is super sad. So again, I'm on this healing journey in my own personal life, but I used to do those 5 days. Oh my gosh, they were just such an easy meal. So those are some 3 quick recipes I'm mentioning that I have in my ebook that are super easy. And you can do that for your family. Like if your husband, you can do it for both you and your husband. I used to do it for both of us. I do those meals. So those are easy. Another thing you could do if you want to start to get crazy is you could make, I used to make oatmeal. I loved oatmeal, and I would mix oatmeal with Greek yogurt. If you haven't tried that, it's a delicious combination because it adds extra protein. Trying to get that protein in. I love to build muscle. I'm a muscle addict, so that extra protein is great because it helps you build more muscles. So I would get the little mini jars, the mini mason jars, and you could also do the same thing with hummus. The hummus at the bottom, carrot and celery sticks. Boop, close it up, store that. Another snack to grab and go. But the yogurt is amazing with the oatmeal. And I would layer it: yogurt, oatmeal, fruit, right? And then you store it in the fridge. It lasts great. The only thing is it's going to be cold. Now, I'm not a super fan of cold oatmeal. If you don't mind it, it works. You can probably plop it into the microwave if you wanted to as well. But those are just some really easy recipes that work, that won't take you, hours and hours in the kitchen. I think that's going to be the key, is to take baby steps. I think, again, too often we try to do too much at once, and then we get overwhelmed and we get discouraged, and then we don't do anything. And we know that, when we're on our journey and we're not we have to go out, we're forced to go out to eat, you lose all control of what you don't know what oil they're using. I don't know if a lot of places don't use organic foods. The more, non-organic foods we take in, yes, organic is real because the non-organic has more toxins, and the more toxins you have in your body creates your body to stop working the way it was designed to work. So it's not a sham, it is real. Now, if you go Google it, there's some things that doesn't really matter. Like you have to have organic everything. Organic bananas, why? The toxins can't get in. Avocados, right? I think if I'm telling them I'm right or wrong, but I think it's true. The avocado, that the toxins can't get in as well. So there's some things you can not necessarily have to do organic, but you need to know which ones are the ones that are absolute necessities. Like they're super high toxic because they spray they spray and they put all kinds of crap in it. So, but you want to make sure that you take a baby steps to like, okay. And as you rock that, then you're like, okay, I think I'm ready to take another step higher, which would be 2 recipes instead of 1. So I think those are really important. And also, like, where do you get recipes? So I'm going to share with you some pages that I follow on Facebook that are great, that have really great healthy recipes. I share them a lot on my page. Skinny Taste, I love her recipes. She has fast, easy recipes that are mostly healthy, on the healthier side. There's another one called Clean Crush, and she has a lot of more vegan. She does do, I'm not sure if does she do meat too? I think she does meat too. But those are 2 great pages I go to get recipes. And of course, we have our own whole nutrition channel that gives you, all the ultimate portion fix, all the different type of recipes that you could possibly think of. To Be Mindset, and To Be Mindset just came out with the To Be Pregnant, which I was sharing you saw today, which is basically an entire program telling you from pregnancy, pre-pregnancy, pregnancy, into post-pregnancy of what to eat. Because when I had my 3 kids, I don't know what I would have paid to be able to have access to know. You just don't know. You're nauseous. You don't feel good. That, you're like, what do I eat? Right. And then you're nursing and you're not getting sleep. And it's just that whole knowing like what's going to work for you, and having recipes that help for people that have all the hormonal stuff going on. Like what a friggin' gift that is. That's amazing. But those are some great places to get recipes from. Of course, I post recipes as well, and my ebook has a ton in there too. But just finding some places and resources of where you can go to find the simple recipes and just start trying them out. You won't know until you try it, whether it's for you or not. And I think it's important to realize any recipe that you have, you can totally change it up. Like people say, oh, but I can't have eggs. Okay, well then you have to just sub something else in there, right? So you have to just find, healthy substitutions. And if you don't know what they are, you can always tag me, because I've been doing substitutions. I love substitutions because I have all the crazy, things that I can't have. So having the substitutions for me are huge, right? Because now I am sugar free, wheat free, gluten free, dairy free, and egg free. Like I can't have turmeric, ginger, black pepper. There's so many other crazy things that my body was allergic to. I didn't know. So if you're like me, like I was, and you're starting to have gut issues and you can't figure out, you're eating healthy food and don't know what's happening, I highly recommend getting a blood food allergy panel. Because what that does is it's going to tell you precisely the foods that, now there's a difference between allergic and intolerant. I just say allergic, but just to be more specific, it means I'm intolerant. Now, if someone's allergic to gluten, that means they can get anaphylactic allergic. That's a high, serious allergy. I don't have that. I'm intolerant. I'm allergic to bees that way, but I'm intolerant to all these things. And so what was happening was I was having issues, and because I ignored it and didn't know, you don't know what you don't know. And I was basically eating all the foods that were healthy, black beans, right? Raw vegetables are so good for you. Power greens, wheat, which when it's organic, it's not bad. I mean, grains aren't great for you. Grains, I think we need grains. Grains lower your blood pressure, right? They lower your cholesterol. So grains are actually good for you, but you have to have the right grains and not too much of it. Has to be a good balance. But I was eating all these foods that are supposed to be good for you, but I was intolerant to and didn't know. And as the years went on, I got worse and worse and worse until I ended up where I was last year, where I had, I don't know if my appendix was related to that or not. They kept saying I had diverticulitis and I had appendicitis, right? And so what happened was I took a ton of antibiotics and that messed up my whole gut flora, which is why I'm trying to now get it all back to health. So it's important to know what you're allergic to. So if you're experiencing, if you notice you're having, reactions to things that maybe you didn't have before, you could be like me, your body's starting to get more and more intolerant because your body's giving you signs and it's speaking to you. Our bodies are always speaking to us, right? So listen to your body, right? Hey, what is that? What's going on? And you want to get the test done so you can see what precisely is going on and find out what is there things that I'm intolerant to that I'm ingesting that's causing it to get worse and worse and worse. And again, you don't want to be like me, wait till you get to the point where now I have all these crazy foods I can't eat that it makes my diet super difficult. And now I'm at the point where I'm having to add nut butters, right, to be able to keep myself to maintain my weight and not keep dropping, since I have to eliminate all these crazy things. So I don't think it will always be this way. I think as my gut gets healthier, right, it'll start to get to the point where I can eat the things like I used to eat. But I also take like a healthy probiotic. Mind Links is a great healthy probiotic that I take in the morning, I take at night. So there's some supplements you can take as well to help your gut to be healthy. But your gut health is so important because it really does affect everything, right? It affects, in our organs, like our liver. Everything we eat goes through our liver. It's our detoxing agent. And if we're not, eating the right foods and we have a lot of toxins, our poor livers are going through all this, they get overworked, and then, the appendix starts to go bad, right? And all other organs start to have problems because it all goes together. So your nutrition is like, we talk about exercise and nutrition, but nutrition really is 90% of the battle. People say abs are built in the kitchen. It really is true. It really is true. And the number one important thing is you have to read the labels. And I know it's a kind of a pain in the butt. It is. And it's not my favorite thing, man. Like it takes longer to go through the grocery store. But if you want to get serious about your health and your nutrition, you're going to have to read the labels, because you'd be shocked at the amount of hidden sugars are in everything. When my new homeopath MD said, you got to cut sugar if you want to heal your liver, I was like, okay. And I was like, no more alcohol. What? I can't have my wine pairings? Like, you gotta be kidding me. But I'm such a beast mode gal. Like that day I walked out of the office, I'm like, never again. I literally cut sugar and cut alcohol that very second. Like I never went back to it. And I share my sugar freedom fighters when I do my challenges. I didn't know I had brain fog. I just didn't even know that I had it. I was like, I thought I'm doing pretty well, feeling pretty good. It wasn't until I went off it that I was like, whoa, I have crazy mental clarity. Like just like Spider-Man, when he got bit and he turned into Spider-Man. I was like, what the heck? And I was like, I guess I had brain fog and didn't even know I had brain fog, but I feel so much better. Like food is fuel. And, can you still eat things? Yeah, you have to keep living. Can you still have wine? Wine is actually healthy for you as long as you have a liver that can sustain it, right? And the cool thing about non-alcohol fatty liver disease, NAFLD, is that you could actually reverse it. And so that's something I didn't know. I've had it. My mom has it. I have it. My youngest son, my eldest son has it. It's something in our generational line that's flowed down. And I never even drank. I turned 21 and went to the gym. So it wasn't like I am a heavy drinker or anything like that. Yes, I love my wines. I talk about it, but I'm a super disciplined person. I have my old 4 ounces, maybe 8 max a week, right? But when you have that, your liver is having problems. It basically, essentially, any amount of alcohol or sugar can cause further damage. So if you're trying to reverse that, you have to let it go. And so, for me, I was like, okay, well, what, I like my sugar. Like I like to have something in my coffee, right? So monk fruit and stevia, organic, right, of course, has been such a lifesaver. And those sweet leaf, stevia drops, they have vanilla cream, they have hazelnut. Those couple of drops of that in your coffee just makes it so you don't feel like you're so deprived. I even make my own little bundt cakes that are with cacao, chocolate, right? And I use all my wheat-free, gluten-free, blah, 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 all that stuff. And I add a little bit of the monk fruit in there, the monk fruit powder, and that makes it a little bit of a sweetness, not too much. And I can still have treats. So there's still ways to you have to keep living, but you have to know, like, what is going to be healthy for me and for my body. I think the nutrition and finding, again, simple solutions, because simple, sustainable. I think, again, we try to go do too much at once, and then we just get discouraged, and then we just don't do anything. Now, do I go out to eat? Yes, I do. You can't stop it 100%. Do I limit it? 100%. I limit it. I don't go out as much as I used to. My husband loves going out to eat. It's his favorite thing, right? He gets like, all the foods I love, the sourdough, the garlic bread, the pastas, the glass of wine. We go to this little Italian place. He gets a Sangiovese. I'm like, you're killing me right now. But one thing I found is having sparkling water seems to help. So I don't feel like I'm left out so much. When he has his little nice glass of wine, I have my sparkling water. So finding an alternative works. But yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to share today, was just simple tips of start small, take a baby step, don't try to do too much at once, and really find something that works for you that you can keep doing. Diets don't work because it's not sustainable. You can't keep living that day in, day out. So finding simple solutions that work for you that you can keep doing are going to be key to really help you to be able to make those life changes, right? Not just for a week, not for a month, not for the first few months of 2022. You have to find what's going to work for you, that you can sustain you, that you can keep doing. And then it becomes a lifestyle change, right? And talking about the honoring of our body, like we know our body, like it works so hard for us every single day. And we need to find what's going to honor and heal our body and keep it healthy. We want to work together as a team. We're meant to work as a team with the Lord. We weren't to be us here, bodies here, Jesus, God up in heaven. And no, we're all supposed to be one. Remain in me and I in you, and then you bear much fruit. But we have to be connected to our bodies with the Lord. And I think a lot of times for me, I was angry with my body because my body, I was doing all the right things and I was gaining weight. I think I'm up to 153 when I'm 5'5", so for 5'4.5". So for me, that was a heavy weight, right? And I was like, what the heck? I don't understand. And I started to get angry at my body. But what I realized, this whole, Romans 8:28 says the Lord uses everything for our good. He works everything for our good. And through my own process, the Lord was able to highlight to me that I was not honoring my body, and my body was mad at me and I was mad at my body. We were like warring instead of being a team. So as I began to, I had to apologize to my body and say, body, I'm so sorry for not honoring you and not listening to you. And I promise going forward to really honor you and take care of you. And if I do, will you release anything you're holding on to that's causing me damage, right? Will you release the pain? Will you release any disease? And so I had to have this conversation with the Lord, with my body. And so much better now. I'm still learning. It's a learning curve, right? Like, how to listen, right? And, but it's a better way to live. We have to work together as a team because we need each other. Without our bodies, we don't have a life, right? It's like game over. We have one body, one shot. That's it. So we want to honor it, take care of it, and learning simple ways to make that happen is going to be the key. So that was my goal of Tip Tuesday. I don't want to go on too long. I'm sure you have things to do, Bianca. But do you have any other questions for me? If not, I'll just wrap her up and and make sure
Two
no.
questions based on everything you just said, and it's just so valuable. The first one is, we're gonna need the purchase link to your ebook.
Oh, it's free. So I will put it down below. It's a free book.
Oh wow! Look at the gift he's giving us all.
Yeah.
Then my second question is, I think we need Alice in the kitchen on a Foodie Friday, making those bundt cakes for us. They sound amazing. They really do. Like,
Oh,
show us your tips and tricks from your kitchen.
yeah. I have done it a few times, but I love Foodie Friday. See, she's my really creative. My word for this year is expectation and co-create, my two words. So you are one that helps me think of things. So I love that Foodie Friday. So yeah, I think we will, that might be something that can happen. I'm not sure about this Friday. I'll think about that when I can make it work. And those bundt cakes are delicious. And I have a super little mini bundt cake maker that is super cute that you can just make a bunch of those, and they are so fast and easy. I also make my waffles in a little mini waffle maker, and I make a bunch of them and I put them in the fridge, and I eat that throughout the week for my breakfast because I got tired of not having any bread. Like my life, there's no life without bread. Like, come on, like I can live on bread and water. I can live on bread, water, butter, and wine and cheese. That's all I need in life, and I would be fine. Like those are my favorites. And I was like, I feel so left out not having bread. So I found a recipe for waffles, and I started to change it, substitute out what I needed to make my own little recipe, and it works. So I can definitely do that too. Yay. Well, thank you for joining me, Bianca. You have saved my day. It was so fun to have someone to actually interact with. So bless you for being here. Lord, I ask you to bless her health, take her deeper, further, accelerate the healing work you're doing in her, Lord. I just say yes and amen to what you're doing. And everyone listening, you say, Lord, accelerate your healing in their bodies and their hearts and their minds, and connecting them deeper to your relationship with them. I just pray that in Jesus' name. All right. Well, bless you for being here. Love you. And be on the lookout for Foodie Friday. All right. Love you. Bless you. We'll chat soon. Thanks for joining me. All right. Bye-bye.